Everyone. We're going to give people just a few more seconds to trickle in here and then we'll get started. So stay tuned. Just a few more seconds. Okay, let's go ahead and just jump in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Gathering Attendee Feedback Beyond the Event Experience webinar. Today, we're going to explore how to transform your attendee feedback into valuable buyer signals. By understanding attendee sentiments, objectives, preferences, and product needs, we're going to show you how you can turn your event data into better opportunities for business growth. My name's Alex Charney, and I'll be guiding the webinar today. This webinar is going to focus on event professionals like you, and we know that understanding your attendee is important for driving greater event experiences and achieving business success ultimately. So we're going to go over what it means to gather attendee feedback beyond the event experience and how to leverage your events to gauge buying signals. I'd also like to introduce Bruce Russell. He is a senior product manager here at Certain. He's going to be giving us a demo of Touchpoint Ignite and showing us how event data coupled with technology empowers you to truly get to know your event attendees and how you can act on that data to make your event program more successful. Bruce, it's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here, Alex.
Okay, with all of that said, let's start out with a quick poll so we know where everyone is in their event journey. We have 3 quick questions to ask you, and they should have just popped up onto your screen, so we'll give you a few seconds to answer those. Question number 1 is, what type of attendee engagement do you include at your events? Question number 2 is, what are your event goals? And question number 3 is, what type of events do you put on? So just a few seconds here. Okay, we're closing that poll shortly. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating in the poll. This is a perfect example of how you can engage with your audience while capturing important data, which we'll be showing you in the webinar how you can turn into meaningful insights. I do have just a few quick housekeeping items before we jump into the meat of this. Number 1, there's going to be a Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions, you can put those into the chat and we will try to get to them at the end. And if we don't, we will reach out to you with an answer. Number 2, we are going to make this recording available on demand, so you can watch it back later or share it with your coworkers. And finally, if you would like a one-on-one demo of Touchpoint Ignite, you can put the word Ignite in the chat or fill out a form on our website, and we will be in touch. So let's get started with an eye-opening stat. According to a recent study by Profile Tree, 60% of event tech users believe that data is the new gold. Today, marketing success revolves around 2 pivotal terms: personalization and engagement. At the core of these lies the concept of buyer intent signals. We can easily turn events into powerful tools for engagement, growth, and success. Bruce, want to weigh in?
Yeah, I think it's important to emphasize that data goes far beyond simply gauging the attendee experience. Your event data offers powerful strategic buyer insights. And with insights into your buyers' sentiment, objectives, product needs, and preferences, you can identify key buyer signals that are so important to guiding them towards that next step in their journey, whether it's making a purchase decision or maximizing the use of their product. Alex, let me know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, going back to what you said about event data, it really does go beyond the event experience itself. It's important to know when you're aggregating data across your entire event portfolio that it represents one of the largest zero and first party sources for MarTech. And if you're really thinking about it, the real value of these events resides in the wealth of opportunities that this feedback offers. It's a treasure trove of insights that, when effectively gathered and analyzed, it empowers you with data-driven decision-making, which ultimately leads to greater business results. Okay, so we all know that events produce a ton of data throughout the event cycle. The question here really is, are you asking the right questions at your events? And if you are, does your event app successfully capture and interpret all of that data? If not, you might want to rethink the app you're using. You might ask, what do you mean by asking the right questions? If you're continuously asking only about the event experience, you will get responses that will improve your next event, which is obviously amazing. But if you craft your questions correctly, it can give you more clarity on their readiness to buy. Bruce, can you give us some examples of how we can transform data into insights that help identify the buyer signals?
Yeah, so let me talk about some of the key insights that we like to think about. So the first one is data collection. During an event, you can use live polls to collect data points that matter. For example, you could ask them questions outside of their event experience and gather their feedback. So that you collect that data first, and then you move on to behavioral analysis. So analyze how attendees interact with different aspects of your event. For example, with sessions they attend, which booths they visit, how long they stay engaged, and their feedback on various sessions or products. Then you move on to kind of the sentiment analysis, where you can analyze the sentiment of attendee feedback, understand how they feel about your products or services. And then you look for patterns, right? So you're looking for patterns in that data that indicate strong buyer's intent. For instance, an attendee who repeatedly engages with a certain product or service might be closer to making a purchase decision. And then after all of that, you want to take actionable insights. So you want to translate that data into insight, creating detailed reports and dashboards that highlight the key findings, buyer signals, strategic recommendations. With these steps, you can show how an event data can drive strategic decisions, boost engagement and growth and success.
Ultimately, what we're saying here is that to truly understand your attendees, it starts with the right data and the right event technology to help you effectively capture, analyze, and transform that data into a competitive edge. Let's hop over to an example of what this might look like in the real world.
Yeah, great points, Alex. Let's use an example of how email works in business. Let's say you're an enterprise level company who's sending out daily promotional emails. You're hoping prospects will open the email and take action, right? Eventually, you decide to take a more data driven approach. You want to analyze 2 years of purchasing history. And this level of insight will allow you to allow you to segment your customers more effectively. It'll tailor your emails to align with their buyer preferences. And this underscores the importance of leveraging data technology, not only to identify the right audience, but also to pinpoint the right moments to engage and target.
So, when it comes to hosting events, know that collecting data is just the beginning. It's really important that you're capturing the right data points and also that you're doing so at every single event interaction, as we're showing you here. From the moment attendees open your email to registration to downloading the event app and reviewing key content you upload for them, there is important things to capture at every single stage of the event lifecycle. For example, what sessions did they attend? Did they respond to a poll or survey question? Did they participate in a badge game, attend a product demo, or if they consumed your content?
Yeah, so it looks like this allows us to get to know our attendee as our audience a little better at each touch point until we get a clear understanding of who they are and what they like. It's really what you do with that data that will determine its value after the event has ended, though. I want to mention that just like this, Touchpoint Ignite allows you to gain a clear picture of your attendees so you can tailor the marketing efforts and create events that deeply resonate with them.
Okay, so far we've mostly discussed individual attendees, but let's go ahead and take a look at how this could play out across an entire event portfolio.
Yeah, so let's imagine capturing all that data, not just for one attendee, but for all your attendees, and doing so at scale. So you get to know your buyers across, your entire event portfolio on a global level. As data is collected and analyzed at a global scale, it provides a more comprehensive understanding of the diverse attendee groups you have. And this enables you to gain a much deeper insight into your buyer signals as a whole and go beyond understanding individual attendees. You end up getting this macro level view of the overall attendee base, identifying trends and patterns that recur across different events. And this helps tailor marketing strategies, optimize event content, and improve attendee experience, and even guiding the planning of future events. So you might ask, how can I get this? And what I want to do is show you a demo of our latest AI-powered event app, Touchpoint Ignite.
Before we jump into the demo, I want to just briefly touch on what Touchpoint Ignite is. It's an intelligent event app designed to transform your audience engagement data into deep audience insights. It's capturing buying signals before, during, and after an event and providing a 360-degree view of audience behaviors that transpire at each stage of your life cycle. The app is integrated with event intelligence and an AI conversational interface that empowers organizations to drive greater revenue and results from their events. So let's hop into the demo. Bruce, take it away.
Yeah, let me share my screen here. So we're going to show you all those things we just talked about and explain kind of a couple of real world examples of how you take action, right? So this is our event app experience. This is the web component of that. We have for a web component, native iOS and Android experience. And what our event app is a kind of a robust set of tools. You as event professionals are probably well aware of event apps and the technology it offers. It lets you communicate with your attendees, let them get engaged socially, collect and consume information. And as event professionals, I think it's easy to get caught in the trap of, oh, the where this came from. This is like your informational brochure for the event, and it's a way for your attendees to kind of read about the event and stay informed. But at certain we've come to think of it as so much more than that. It's really evolved over the years to become this heart blood for your events, your organization, your communication tool to all of the people you need to touch base with on a regular cadence. And it has all these tools at your disposal that can really elevate the event beyond that brochure experience. So what I want to talk about is how we build that insight, how we collect that data in a more thoughtful, engaging way. And one of the first things I always like to talk about is social content. Um, you might think of this as like, oh, this is a way for my attendees to go and say hi to each other, interact, have fun, playful conversations. And while that's true, uh, it is also something that can kind of serve the purpose that we would traditionally offload into the surveys. In the event industry, I think we kind of reach for that survey a lot. We think, oh, we need to understand this message, if this event is successful, how are they receiving it, what is most impactful, and we ask a lot of survey questions. And I've seen surveys get pages long, and people are shy and not really engaged in that survey. They don't want to go and complete a 10-page survey. But if we start to think about the app holistically as a way to kind of collect that data and gain insight into our constituents, social activity is a great way to do that. So we have a lot of ways you can do that. Social content in our app, whether it's activity feeds, discussion boards, photos, just comments on the various resources. But if you see this social content with a little bit of thought and planning, you can kind of drive the insights that you would want to get out of that survey through social content. So I have an example here of, you're seeing this content, asking your attendees, what do they think about the industry? What do they think about a particular session? And because it's done in this social setting, it's much more engaging. They see their peers commenting and interacting. They're not doing it off on their own in a survey where no one, goes off into the ether and they never see it again. It's something where they feel compelled and engaged. So that can drive that same feedback in a much more natural way, a way that feels much more intuitive to your attendees. And you probably get a lot more return, a lot more engagement in that content. So that's one key aspect. And like I said, you can sprinkle that through photos. You can sprinkle that into a discussion board topic, an activity feed post. There's a lot of ways you can do that. The other thing I want to highlight today is reading materials. So a lot of times you're going to an event, you're probably getting information. You might be going to the agenda, seeing what session information is available for a particular session you're attending. You have polls and surveys and all that stuff. And one of the maybe less amazing and flashy features is these reading materials. So you might not think of that as a way to kind of gain this insight intuitively. But if we start to think about it from a audience segmentation and dissecting who is most engaged perspective, you could start to tailor some of this reading material to appeal to a certain demographic. So I've got some resources attached to this session. One's geared towards marketers and one's geared towards sales executives. So you can imagine if you have this bifurcation of content, the different groups will come to the session and see, oh, I want to take a look at that marketing material. That's me. And just by doing that simple little action, you kind of gain an insight into who is most engaged, which portions of your audience are resonating most with particular content pieces, sessions, and stuff like that. So it's a great way to kind of bubble up that information without them having to go and answer an explicit question. So this is kind of the content piece over here, the event app experience. What Touchpoint Ignite does is take all of that data then and bubble it up in a nice visual dashboard. So this is our event intelligence dashboard. Here you'll see a lot of information about your event portfolio, your participants, their level of engagement, the demographics. You'll get insight and alerts based on the goals that you have for your particular event. But we also have this engagement dashboard as well. So this is where all that data that we were seeding in our event app kind of gets fed into. and it allows you to see, the general sentiment per event. So over here in the top left, we see an event summary. It tells you how the event went, what the general sentiment was. You have a word cloud kind of showing you the things that people were talking about and how it's being received. So blue is good, red is bad, bad workshops today or in this event. We also have engagement summaries. So this lets you see at a glance the particular resources or features within the application that were getting the most interactions. We have an analysis of the sessions, so you can see which ones were most popular, most attended, quick breakdown of all the agenda and stuff. And then we also have resources. So all those badges, links, videos get bubbled up here. And I want to actually dive into that a little deeper. So I'm going to make that bigger. So if you remember back when I was talking about reading materials, this is a great way that that would be surfaced. You can come in here and quickly see different videos, different links that are within this event and kind of see which ones were getting the most interaction. So you can get trends real easily that way. So you can see strategic data intelligence, analytics, growth, intelligence trends. So I can quickly see that people are very interested in the strategic side of this industry and how to foster their business in particular to grow. So it's really intuitive to see this at a glance, which is getting the most interactions. So this event intelligence dashboard is taking all of that data that you house in your event app experience and really just combining it all together and making it all in one intuitive interface instead of maybe running reports, dissecting spreadsheets and combining stuff and creating charts. It's kind of all done for you. So I hope that illustrates the event intelligence dashboard to you, and you can understand the enormous value that it has.
So obviously there's a lot of insights that are in here as you've just shown, but could you show us a little bit about if we're looking for insights that are not shown on the dashboard?
Yeah, good point. So this event intelligence dashboard is super powerful. It has a lot of stuff that you as an event planner or a event professional would be interested in, but it's not going to capture everything. And there's going to be questions that you or others on your team are going to have and want to know the answers to that may not be captured in these visualizations. So the other component that we have layered on top of this to kind of cover you in that case is a conversational experience. So when you're in your event app dashboard, at any time you can open this conversational experience and ask questions in this natural language way. So whether it's captured in that dashboard or not, you can ask these questions and kind of get the insights that you're looking for. So I'll ask a few questions just to illustrate that. So what was the most recent event that was focused on the topic of data? So as you can see, I'm in this organization and we have a number of events and I see event intelligence forum is right there. So when I ask the AI chat experience, it's going to tell me the most recent one was that data intelligence forum. So it looks at all your events and it's telling you the information you were wanting. Let's try another one. So let's pop into this data intelligence one and ask another question. Let's see. What about, let's ask it, what were the most frequent job titles for my attendees? So you can see it's really open and kind of creative, right? You can ask any question that pops into your head, and even other members of your team that might not be super familiar with the content management system could leverage this, and they don't have to know where to find that report. They can just pop in here and ask a question. So I can see I get demographics about what kind of job roles were attending this event. Let's also just ask one last one just to kind of further solidify it. So I'm going to ask it, what was the overall event reception, and see how it summarizes that. So it's not very, like that's a pretty open-ended question. So it'll be interesting to see how it handles that. So I just asked for the overall, how is it the event received overall? And you can see it gives me a nice summary telling me where it took place, how it was received. It'll give you those organizations that attended, and it also gives you these nice charts. So you can imagine this is super powerful. And like I said, you don't have to be an expert in any one of these dashboards. You can just ask questions in a natural language way. And with that, I think I'll hand it back to you, Alex.
Great. Thank you so much, Bruce. Now that you guys have seen the app, we want to hop on another quick poll just to kind of see what you guys are thinking. 3 questions should have just popped up on your screen. Number 1, do you use an event app at all of your events? Number 2, what event data are you tracking today? And number 3, would you like to have the type of data and actionable insights you can get by using an app like Touchpoint Ignite for your next event? So we'll give you a few seconds on this one, and we appreciate your answers. A few more seconds here. Okay, thank you guys so much for your answers. And before we hop into the Q&A, I did just want to wrap up briefly. In addition to brand building and thought leadership, events can be a powerful tool for lead generation and customer acquisition. When you're offering valuable content, networking opportunities, and exclusive experiences, you can attract and engage potential customers who are interested in your product or services. All of that said, this is how an intelligent event app like Touchpoint Ignite can help you gather the right feedback and decode buying signals for your organization. Number 1, it's designed to efficiently capture, analyze, and transform your audience engagement data into insights or buyer intent. Number 2, you're getting buying signals right at your fingertips with a 360-degree view of audience behaviors at every single stage of the event and at scale. And finally, as you just saw, it's an AI-powered conversational solution that empowers you to make data-driven decisions effortlessly and swiftly with context-rich insights. Okay, let's go through some of the questions that we have from the audience. And like I said, if you have any that you haven't already posted, you can put those in the chat and we will try to get to them. So question number 1, how quickly can I get Touchpoint Ignite?
Yeah, so it's available today. So we'll have it available for your next event if you're interested.
Okay, this is a good one. How do we know what questions are best to ask in order to get actionable insights? Are there best practices that you offer?
Yeah, so you can obviously do your own thing, but we offer a number of templates based on your industry and your event profile, and of course we'll also have our our professional services team ready to help out. So yeah, we'll definitely get you hooked up.
Okay. Can we customize the dashboard so it has specific data that we want?
Yeah, so the dashboard was built with the customization in mind. So yeah, we absolutely can customize the event intelligence dashboard. We would just have to work with you to kind of meet the specific needs of your organization.
Okay, great. If any of you have further questions that weren't answered or you think of them afterwards, you can always reach out to us via our website and we're happy to help at any time. Thank you guys so much for attending. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. We hope you learned something. And again, if you have any questions or you want to learn more about Touchpoint Ignite, we are always available via our website. And thanks again for joining.